Hello, family. This is Wednesday and it's Refueling Your Faith. And today I want to talk to you about the Lord or God is making room for you. The Lord is making room for you. We find it today in Genesis 26 and verse 22. And it's basically talking about Isaac, who is, there was a famine in the land, and God told Isaac, don't go to Egypt. I want you to stay right here and go to the land of Gerar, where the king of Abimelech is, and dwell there. And so he dwelled there, and King Abimelech allowed him to stay there. But then he became very prosperous, and they told him, you have to leave. So he went into the valley of Gerar, and he and his servants were trying to build wells so that they could survive. And they built one well and there was a quarrel over it. He built another well and again there was another quarrel of it. But he moved and made another well and actually there was no quarreling. And so when that happened, Isaac said in Genesis 26, in verse 22, it said he moved away from there and dug another well. This is his third well, and they did not quarrel over it. So he named it Rehoboth, for he said, at last the Lord has made room for us, and we will be fruitful in the land. At last the Lord has made room for us, and we will be fruitful in the land. I really was impacted by that particular verse because he said, the Lord has made room for us. Such a powerful understanding. God had called him to that land. And then when he got there, he kept getting misplaced. He kept being rejected. He kept feeling like he didn't fit in. And then eventually, after continuing to live in that land, the Lord made room for Isaac and all the people that were with him. And so in the same way, God has called you to a place. I don't know what that may be. You may be called to be in a relationship, a healthy relationship. You know God has promised that to you. You know God has promised you a certain level of career. You know that God has promised you a financial state where you can be generous. I don't know what it is that God has called you into, but right now you are feeling rejected. You are feeling misplaced. You are feeling as if you don't fit in. Well, I want to come to you to say that the Lord is making room for you, just like he did for Abraham. Not Abraham, but his son Isaac. For Isaac, he made room for him. He didn't give up. Isaac did not give up. He remembered the promise that God said, hey, when you read in the early verses of 26, God made a promise. He didn't just say, go to the land of Gerar. He said, in this land, you will be fruitful and you will multiply. And so there was a promise God gave him. And so in spite of the fact that he was being moved around, Isaac didn't leave. He didn't sit down. He didn't give up, but he continued to keep pressing until that place in which God made room for him. And then it says, and we will be fruitful in that land. We will be prosperous in that land. So I just want to say to you today, it's not very long today. I just want to say to you, be reminded today that God is making room for you. The work that you're doing is not in vain. In fact, more than likely, it's preparing you for the place in which he's making room for you. And so don't despise those times that you're having to struggle and feel that rejection or feel misplaced or feeling like you don't fit. Eventually, according to God's time, according to his purpose, you will be in the place that God is making room for. There is a statement that says that even when we don't see God moving, we have to trust his hand because he is doing something behind the scenes. We can't trace him, but we must trust him because he is doing something behind the scenes. So I'm encouraging you today, continue doing what you are doing. Continue doing what God has called you to do. And in due time, according to his purpose, according to his plan, you will be in the place that he is making room for you. And when you get there, you're going to be fruitful. You're going to prosper. So I am praying for you that you'll continue plugging on your journey. I'm praying for you that you will not give up, but that you will be confident that there is a place for you that God is making room for so that you can be prosperous and that you can be a part of what he has called you to do, promised you to do in in the name of Jesus, God is going to do exactly what he has promised you. I hope that you have a great day. Pray for me as I continue in my journey, and I'm praying for you. I'll see you next Wednesday. God bless.